you for your testimony this morning. Director Bong, I would like to begin with you because Senator Portman and I last year introduced the Transatlantic Telecommunications Security Act. And I was interested in doing that because we have done everything we can to discourage our European allies from using China's telecommunications sector, Huawei and others, because of concerns about what that means for security. Now, what we did in the Telecommunications Security Act was to authorize the Development Finance Corporation to invest in trusted telecommunications projects in Eastern Europe, where we're encouraging countries to get off that Chinese telecommunications, but we're not providing any real help for them. Now, sadly, that legislation has gotten hung up in a philosophical debate about what the mission of the Development Finance Corporation should be. But what kind of help does your agency have to address that concern among our Eastern European allies?
Thank you very much, Senator, for that question. We are absolutely seeing China's push for closed systems and closed integrated solutions that encourage Chinese company end-to-end solutions, which are bad for security and bad for competition. So what we've done is to work through a series of workshops, reverse trade missions, and projects that can introduce regulators in our partner countries, procurement officials in our partner countries, to the solutions that the U.S. provides. It's very important for them to be able to see the options, to familiarize them with our technologies, and to do so hand in hand with our colleagues at DFC so that we coordinate closely with DFC, with the Export-Import Bank and the Departments of Commerce, because there is an ecosystem that follows the early project preparation to financing. So often we will convene through our workshops and our reverse trade missions where we're bringing delegations to the United States, and we will develop projects that can speak to our partners' ability to have choice and to understand that there is more security to be had, more openness and competition if they follow the United States solutions.
And are we being successful at that?
I think we are, Senator. We are seeing, and just yesterday I welcomed a delegation from Malaysia full of telecommunications regulators, where they expressed their openness, they expressed an understanding of what they might need to look at to address these issues. So because we're in the early stages of planning and preparation, it does take time to see the change, but I do see a great willingness in partners to attend to the expertise that we're able to provide.
Thank you. This question is really for all three of you, because as we talk about economic statecraft and our ability to provide assistance in economic areas to address concerns that countries are having, developing countries in particular, one of the aspects of that we don't talk much about is how do we get the message out about what we're doing? Right now, I think both China and Russia are eating our lunch in terms of the ability to spread inaccurate information about the United States and what we're doing. They've done it very successfully in terms of what's happening with food insecurity because of the war in Ukraine, which Russia is responsible for, and yet in countries in Africa and the Middle East, they see the United States as being the problem here. So how do you see information and getting information out about what we're doing as critical to the other work that you're doing in the economic area? And I'll start with you first, Secretary Fernandez.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator. I think you're right in that both Russia and China are engaging in disinformation battle. They have blamed the U.S. for the food insecurity caused by Russia's invasion of Ukraine. And something we are doing at the State Department is focusing on that misinformation and getting out the message that our sanctions expressly carve out oil and gas exports, expressly do not affect food, do not affect fertilizers.
And
so,
I don't want to interrupt you, but are you working with the Global Engagement Center
Yes,
at
we
the
are.
State Department?
Yes, we are.
And is there a plan for how we are responding?
there is a plan. There is a
And
plan.
can that
and
be shared with this committee?
Well, of course. And I think we are engaged in every day and addressing the misinformation. It's hard because, frankly, the Russians and the PRC are good at this, and so we've got to up our game. But I think there's certainly a strategy to do that, and we have been doing that in the last few months.
Thank you. I know I'm out of time, Mr. Chairman, so I will send questions for the record to all of you in response to this question, because I think it's something that we have got to get much better at and get very specific about how we're responding. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Portman.